Hello everyone, I hope you hear me pretty well. Just let me know if you can hear if the sound is good, if you can hear the guitar. I'll write down your little message here. As a loom of glass, welcome back. Hope you're doing good. Thank you. Just going to wait to see who's there, who's present. So today we're going to work on theory applied on the instrument. Happy Easter. My daughter had a lot of chocolate. Hi, Daryl. Thanks a lot. I put on the special sound for the theory, so it will be much more smoother. La vie sur le rock. Hello, my love. So don't hesitate to write down a couple messages. How are you doing? I hope you had a great weekend there. At least we didn't have a lot of snow. That's good. So, we're going to talk about theory today. Okay, so I've put on my anti-pop here, so I'm a bit more prepared than last time, so it shouldn't pop at all. Okay, so we're going to talk about some basic theory. So probably you've already heard about all this, but I'm going to go through it again. It's always good to review a little bit the theory here. So what do you know about theory? Theory applied on instrument. Maybe you've practiced or learned theory without the instrument, and that was my case actually a long time ago at the conservatory. But I prefer teaching right now theory applied on instruments, so with your instrument at home you can experience all this here. So for all the newcomers here, you will have the tabs on here appearing mainly of the exercises that you're going to have during this live stream right here. But I want to talk a little bit about my Patreon right here. So by magic it's going to appear. Yes. So as you can see on here, my Patreon, so you can get the whole tabs on by subscribing. If you just want a PDF, it's just like $3 Canadian per month, and you can stop whenever you want, just like Netflix and all that other kind of stuff. If you want the PDF tablature and guitar profile, $4 per month. Okay, there's no obligation there, but it's always more comfortable to have the paper. That's what I think. Okay, and see, you got 102 writings there, so you can, for example, just take a month, download everything, and never come back. Or you can stay and be friendly. So for the lucky ones who are on my Patreon, they already have the lesson of tonight for the live stream, theory applied on guitar. Okay, and they have everything there. Okay, so you have all the lessons I have on my YouTube channel. So don't hesitate there. If you have any questions about Patreon, you can email me, you can contact me. Okay, let's go back here. Make this disappear. Ta-da. Okay, everything all right? So where are people from? All Canada, France, different other countries? I hope you're doing good. So here I wrote down the lesson on my guitar profile that you have right here. So you could probably see it right here. I'm going to make it appear. So yeah. So this is like you got 5 pages. So we're not going to see everything tonight, but you got like most of the stuff right there. Okay. So I think we could start here. Do you have any questions, first of all? What do you know about theory? Nothing? Well, do you know the difference? Do you know the difference between a melody and a chord? So a melody would be like, for example, like Au clair de la lune. And the harmony would be like a wall of sound. Okay, so that's how we have to visualize. Hi, Kirk. I hope you're doing good. I hope you had a good weekend. Okay, so this is harmony, when you're playing several notes at the same time. And mostly harmony is like chords. So we're going to see what chords are made of, or review what they are made of course. So it's imagine a wall sound. So it's several notes that you're playing at the same time. And a melody is like a wave of sound, okay? So with all that there, you can do music. Of course, you need rhythm, you need groove, and you need creation on what you're doing there, but that's pretty much how everything works out here. So first thing we have to have a look at, so you know the difference between a melody and a chord. So a chord is like notes of a scale, 1 by 1, okay? I won't have any problem with copyright with that one. And for example, chords, it's a wall sound of notes, okay? But it's not like any kind of notes that you're going to put together. It's going to be like a chord is built up in a certain way, okay? So we're going to start first with the C scale. So I know you all know the C scale, I know. So you can apply this also on your bass or any instrument that you have, melodic instrument. So starting with the C scale, you're going from the note C to C. So it's important if you're doing theory to know a little bit your notes on the neck. So some of you probably are working on the internet there and seeing like positions of C here or right here. But I would recommend starting here right on the top, because it's easier to learn with the 3 first frets right here. Okay? So you can learn your notes here. So C, D, open string, E, F, G, A, B, and C. And this is important for starting basics of theory understanding, because if you go too far in the neck, it gets complicated. Okay? So what is a major scale? So I took the example of the C scale because it's the easiest scale you're going to have. A major scale, you have what we call whole tones and half tones. Whole steps or half steps. There's different definitions of that. And we will see it on the guitar neck. So between C and D, we have a whole step. Okay? Between D and E, we have a whole step. Now naturally between E and F, we have a half step. F and G, we have a whole step. G and A, we have a whole step. A and B, we have a whole step. And B and C, we have a half step. So there's always in a major scale a half step between the 3rd and 4th notes and between 7 and 8. So between E and F for the C scale and B and C. Okay, so I'm going to show you this here right away on on the screen you're going to see, I'm just going to put this up here. Wait, C scale here. Ta-da! Okay, so this is just what I started playing right there. Okay, so you can work on your C scale. I just want to make sure that you know it's here on the top of the neck there. I know it's hard on Sunday evening, but you always have to find time for practicing. Okay, do you see the full tab there? Please let me know if it appears normally. I know there's like a black rectangle on the right side. I got used to it. I like it. I will fill that up with time. I'll put something funny in there. You got it there? Does it appear normally on the screen? Okay, no answer. I hope everything's okay. So, now talking about the C scale, just to show you the story about whole steps and half steps. Looks perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, let's make this disappear by magic there. And we're going to see this one right here. Woohoo. So it's also the C scale here, but we're going to think the guitar neck here like a keyboard. I'll turn around maybe this way. And here with the frets, it's important because, you know, with the frets right here, you have to think that each fret represents a half step. So this is pretty cool on the guitar or any string instrument to understand it. So C, D, whole step, D, E, whole step, E, F. So here, remember, we have the half step. F, G, whole step, F, G, whole step, G, after you have A, B, B, whole step, and B, C, half step. Okay, I'm sure you got that there. I'm just gonna... So that is the major scale. So now that you got the structure of the major scale, remember 3, 4, and 7, 8 for the half steps there. You have to think, okay, so this would work on any other major scales. We're going to come back to that after, okay, and we'll see how do we play, for example, a G scale. Can we play from G to G? So you have to think, you have to respect the same structure and have a half step between 3 and 4 and 7 and 8 in the notes there. Okay? So let's go on the third example right here. So here, let's talk a little bit about intervals. So what are intervals? Intervals are two sounds that you play at the same time. And you know what? You're going to need intervals to play chords. Yes. You have all kinds of different chords, but we'll see like the major and the minor for starting today. So main intervals you're going to need, I'm just going to lay down this there and have a little sip of water. Because doing this for an hour, yeah, you got to drink water. And I swear I'm drinking water. So let's go on the intervals here. Main intervals to know, for example, are the unisons. So I'm going to play C and C. So you don't really need to see my right hand here. I'm playing the C on string 5 fret 3 and the C on string 6 fret 8. So if the guitar is perfectly tuned, it's going to sound identical, but it's never perfectly tuned. So that's the sound of a unison. For example, you have 12-string guitars that you're playing unisons. So you have two E's, you have two A's, two D's, you have two G's, two B's, and two high E's. Okay, and it's different from in a choir when we say, let's sing at the unison. It means singing together, but here in the intervals, it's two identical notes to play together. So there's 0 steps in the unison. That's what I call steps are, there's no half step or whole step. Okay, so we also have the major second here. So I'm playing C and D. So I know what you're going to tell me. This sounds awful. Yeah, it's not made to be awful. Sounds in the universe are just awful. It's not like in movies. You know why? Because you are pure classical romantics. You like what is beautiful and sad. You don't like, for example, when I play. Ooh. Well, we're not living in our time because we should like that. Okay, so major second here. We're playing a note C and D. So that's the sound of a major second. So I'm plucking on string 5 fret 3 and string 4 open. So that's 1 step. Remember? Then we have after the major third. So that's going to be so here we got 2 steps there from C to E. Okay. Now let's move on to the next one right there. There, perfect fourth. So we're going on C, F. So right here, C and F with my pinky. You can use whatever finger you want. Okay, so perfect fourth, 2.5 steps. Then we have perfect fifth. So I'm playing C and G. So C is on string 5, fret 3, and the G open string right here. There you go. Okay, so you're probably more familiar with that sound. And now we're going on the major 6 here. We got C and A. So that's 4.5 steps there. Major 6. Now I'm going to write down the next one right there. We're just going to move up slowly here. I just have to move this thing here. Here we go. So we were on exercise 6. Did we do that one there? No, not yet. So it's exercise 5. There we go. So exercise 5 right here. We have major 7, so CB. 5.5 steps here. Oh, there's a little mistake there. I always do a little mistake. So the octave here, it's not 3/3 because that would be a 9th here. So it's 3 and 1. I will correct that. Okay, so 3 and 1, the octave here. So 6 steps. Okay, so and you have the okay. Yeah, why did I write down octave C and D? That is wrong. We're not perfect. Okay, so you got all, so you have to use all the notes of the C scale. That's what's important right there. Okay. So, you have other intervals like, you can have like C and E flat. That would be a minor third. Okay. You're going to have all kinds of them there. You're going to have like, you're going to ask me why are, for example, something perfect and the other one not? Well, that were terms that were decided a long time ago, and most by Benedictine monks in the 11th, 12th century. Okay, because they thought that, for example, thirds and perfect fifths were and octaves were pure, perfect. But we know now that doesn't mean anything. Now we could appreciate other terms there. We could appreciate, for example, the sound of a major second. So we're going to move on to the next exercise here. Okay. So now we're going to have a look at how to make a chord. Okay. So put this right here. So looking at chords here, you probably wonder, or maybe you already know, how to make a chord. Well, basically you need three things. You're going to need the roots, you're going to need the major third, and you're going to need the perfect fifth. So if you know your notes on the neck here, well, you could play, for example, here you got a C on string 3, fret 5. You got the E on string 2, fret 5. And you got the G on string 1, fret 3. This is also a C major chord. Okay? So you don't need to buy the book with 1,200 chords. There's all kinds of ways of learning your notes progressively on the neck. And for example, looking how to make chords all over the neck like that. Okay? You can find, for example, where are all the C's. There's a C here, here. And you can go for everywhere on the neck there. I hope you're doing good there. Make a sound. How is it going on so far? Not too bored? Sounds good. Okay, so we did the C major chord. So you can apply the same thing on with other types of chords. If you're building chords like that, you're gonna need the root. Starting from the root, you need the root after the major third, always starting by the root, and after go on the perfect fifth. Okay, to make any chord you wanna do. For example, if I'm doing a G here, I need a G as the root here. B will be my major third, and D the perfect fifth. Okay, and then I got my G major. So I can play, if I know those three notes there, I can play them wherever I want on the neck here. Okay, let's move on to the next one here. I'm just going to move up right here. Go here. Take this off here. Here we go. So, if we wanted to make a major chord, we got to learn how to make a minor chord. So, same thing, we're going to keep the root here. We're going to need minor third, so that's 1.5 steps here. So you'll find all the others, all the other intervals, well, many others on my Patreon right there. And after you have the perfect fifth, that doesn't change. So perfect fifth, you have to remember it's 3.5 steps here. So I got C, E flat, and G. And I can also play it here if I want it. So I got C, E flat, and G. You can work out your notes actually like that on the neck. It's much more interesting, I find. Looking how to play like chords with three notes there instead of playing the full like this here. Okay? So that's how you're going to make a minor chord. You need the root, minor third, and the perfect fifth. That's not going to change. Okay, so now take this off right here. Go on 8 here. Yes. So you have to know what are alterations. I was talking earlier of, yeah, well, if you want to write down any kind of different major chords, you're going to need to have like half step between 3 and 4 and 7 8, starting by the root note going to the next root. You have to know what are alterations. So for example, if you have F here, you want to do F sharp. So F sharp is that little symbol they have on your phone. And it's going to raise the note a half step higher. Right here. Okay, so the sharp is the note's going to be higher in sound. Higher, lower. Okay? And so on the neck, you're going lower in that direction and higher in that one there. But what you have to do right here is that it's raising a half step higher. So you can see on the neck right here. Okay? So for example, the flats, I got a B here, for example. A B, that's on string 3, fret 4. And I want to do like let's say a B natural. A B flat, not natural. B flat here, so I'm going to lower down a half step. So this is the B flat here. And you're going to tell me, yeah, that could be like an A sharp. That's right. A is here. A sharp is right here on the 3rd fret. So B flat and A sharp on the guitar neck are the same. But in a different key, it's different. That's because you have songs with 2 sharps. You got songs with 2 flats. It's different. And you have a lot of alterations with flats with instruments like transposed instruments like saxophone, trumpets, wind instruments, brass instruments, for example. Okay, so that's how it works here. So if I'm doing, for example, B flat here, you have also so that's on the 2nd measure there. You're going to have the natural. Natural is canceling the effect of the flat or the sharp. Okay, so that usually operates during the measure. So same thing here. If I have F sharp, F natural. F sharp, F natural. So you're going to need sharps and flats for doing music. That's for sure. Okay. Now, we were on 8. Let's move on to the next one right here. Yeah, so the tritone. So have you ever heard about the tritone? So one rule here you want to know, talking about perfect 4th, perfect 5th, and all that stuff, is that a long time ago, the Benedictine monks in Italy, they kind of invented somehow musical rules that we use today. Before that, the Greeks, of course, did a lot of stuff in music, but the Benedictine monks, as what I've learned in music class, did a lot of stuff also for kind of organizing the music that we have right now. The poor guys, they couldn't do what they wanted because we had the Inquisition at the time. So remember, Galileo was burned. So you had to be very careful about that. There's a good book explaining the Inquisition at the time. The Name of the Rose, Umberto Eco. And there was a movie, I think, with Sean Connery. So they knew that sharps and flats did exist, but you have to know that, like, during the century, they were only doing like music in the ut key. The ut, U-N-T, written down, was the C, the key of C. So they were doing that with the modes, and that was pretty much all. Appeared after the sharp. They probably knew it before, but they had to wait for authorization to use it because they were kind of in the unknown of music theory. So with the sharps and the flats appearing there, it gave a huge range of new possibilities of different keys. And that is great because we kind of lost a century like that without staying in the key of C. So we mastered the key of C. So the tritone, what is it? It's an interval of 3 whole steps. So if I'm playing from F, G, A, B, you hear that sound there? Well, probably doesn't bother you. You probably use it in your music. But that interval there was considered as in 11th, 12th century and maybe after, like the interval of the devil. Because I'm going to explain in the next example here. So that's the sound of a tritone there. 3 steps. Okay, so naturally in the C scale, you have like 2 tritones there. Okay, so between that interval right there, and I'm going to show you the next one after. Haha, tritone number 2. So tritone number 2 here, I'm playing B and F. So if you look here, I couldn't write it down there. If you look down here, you have between B and C a half step. You have C and D a whole step, D and E a whole step, E and F a half step. And when they wrote that down, they saw like this, the horns. So they thought, wow, we got to be careful because the devil is in the music. So, and that's what they call the tritone, diabolicus in musica, or diabolus in musica. So they were totally not allowed to sing that interval. They would be seriously punished if some superior would hear them do that. But times changed after in the 17th century with composers like Johann Sebastian Bach, for example, where he was using like tensions. I call them tensions like tritones to express pain, for example, pain of the Christ, for example, in the Passions that he wrote. So it's a totally different use of that. So 10th, 11th, 12th century, not so much. The Renaissance, they were pretty careful on what they were playing. And the Baroque era with Bach, Monteverdi, and many others there, they were using like tensions to express pain in their belief. So 2 different aspects in music. So yeah, religion was very, very present in that time there. Now we love intervals like that. For example, in blues, we like using the flat 5 for doing like. And if you haven't seen it, I recommend you my short where I'm showing all the faces you need to play blues to express the pain of the interval. Okay, so nothing religious about it there, but in blues you're using the blue note to kind of express that little bluesy feel of how life is hard. Different ways of using music. So you can, those intervals are used through times and different thoughts, different ways, different philosophies. It's super interesting if we would do a little study on that. Definitely. Okay, so we did, we were on that one there. Let me just double check here. So we did the tritone here. We did the second tritone right here. So what you have to remember is that all 4th and 5ths are perfect except BF and FB. Okay? So if you have, for example, I'm playing F and B here, well, this is going to be a, yeah, you don't practice the face enough, yo. The tritone makes it have the face, I tell you. Pain. But it's so good. So what was I saying? I was saying, yes. So the FB, Asimov's glass is making me laugh. So the interval of the FB here, so that's a 4th. It's an augmented 4th, sharp 4. You will also find it naturally in the Lydian mode. We'll talk about that probably in another live stream. And after we have B and F, so that's going to be a flat diminished 5th. that you have also in your blue, and if you're playing your E minor blue scale, so with the flat 5. Okay, so lots of things to practice. And for example, Joe Satriani's in a lot of music, this is used also to create a tension here. Yes, Lydian. So, what else I have here? Aha, the order that this brings us to order. We need order. My wife thinks we don't need order. She doesn't like order. I'm too much in the order. She likes to have fun. And she's right. We should all have fun. But we need order. So, the order of the sharps, it's pretty strange. And I know that you guys always work on the cycle of fifths and that circle thing that you find on the internet, on websites, on YouTube channels, others, explaining that if you have one sharp, you have this and that. I'm going to show you in a different way here. The order of the sharps, the name of order comes from the Benedictine order because they created kind of the order of the sharps, finding out that with this calculus you could find if you have so many sharps, they knew how many sharps in a major scale that you needed. Okay, so you have to learn them by heart. Fa, do, sol, re, la, mi, si. So I pronounce it the French way because I did all my education en français. Fa, do, sol, re, la, mi, si. Yeah. Okay, so you have to learn that by heart. You have to learn it by heart. I think this is the best way to learn the keys there. If you understand how it works, well, you will get it there. Understand better the understanding of how many sharps you need in a scale. So let's take a little example here. Oh, that's the order of the flats. I hope I put that on. Just going to double check here. Okay. Okay. I'll come back on the order of the flats. So for example, right here, a G scale, G major scale, okay? In a G major scale, you're going to have one sharp. And when I say one sharp, it's the sharp that you had on the list here. The first sharp you had on the list is the F sharp. So you're always following that list there to understand how it works. So I'll go back to exercise 13. So how does it work? If you have one sharp, you have the first sharp of the list. So F sharp. You're going to raise a half step, the F sharp. What comes after F sharp is the note G. And that means you're in G major. In G major, all the Fs are sharp. And you have the structure of the major scale. And if you rewrite it down there, you will see that between the third note here of G scale, B and C, there's a half step. And between 7 and 8, F sharp and G, it resolves the problem, you have a half step also. So that's why it's major. If you don't put the sharp in, it's going to be like a mode from the major scale. What mode would that be if I didn't have an F sharp? Let's see. If I go from G to G, what mode would that be? The answer is not quick, yeah? So now if we have, for example, two sharps, so we're following the list here, so F sharp and C sharp, we're going to have D major. It's going to also respect the structure of the D major scale. Hey, you're right, asylum of glass, perfect. Mixolydian. You got it. Right on. Okay, so D major, you're going to have 2 sharps. All the Fs and all the Cs are going to be sharp. Okay? Same thing for A major. You're going to have 3 sharps. Okay, in A major you have 3 sharps. There, it's starting to get interesting for reading music, because you got to think about all the sharps. So if you're not following tabs and you're reading the music here, they're going to write down the alterations at the beginning just after the treble clef. So you're going to have F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. And you have to remember that all the Fs, all the Cs, and all the Gs in your note reading are sharp. That's the game. You just have to practice it here. Okay, I'm going to come back here. So on the flats. So we could go more in details of sharps and flats there, but I wouldn't have enough time for that there. I know you have time, but we have lots of other stuff to see. So the order of the flats, if you have sharps, you have flats. The order of the flats are the opposite of the sharps. So the sharps, you had Fa, Do, Sol, Re, La, Mi, Si. And the flats, Si, Mi, La, Re, Sol, Do, Fa. That's interesting. So how does it work for the flats? To find the key, you have to take the second last flat of the list. So for example, I'm going to give you the example right here. I hope I have it. Yeah. So, if I'm going to start with 2 flats. You're going to understand why after. 2 flats. So B flat and E flat of the list. So I take my second last flat here, which is B flat, and we are in the key of B flat major. Okay. B flat major. Yeah, B flat major. You don't have that very often in guitar, but you should get used to it. Okay, because there's other keys besides C major, F major, G major. So B flat major, you have all the B's and all the E's are flat. So now if you have 3 flats, so B flat, E flat, A flat on the second example here, you're going to take the second last flat and you're going to have E flat major. So E flat major, you have all the B's, all the E's, and all the A's flat. So here I'm starting on E flat. Okay, and etc. So you can do that with all the flats there, and it's going to work that way. Now, if you have 1 flat, you're in the key of F major. That's why I didn't start with that example here, because it would have been a little bit, I don't like the word complicated, say interesting. All my students know that. F major, to respect the structure here, we needed a B flat. Okay, so F. So in F major, all the B's are flat, and it respects the structure of the major scale. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, I hope you're not too bored with this lesson. So now we're going to move on here. Another example here. Okay, so we went through the sharps and flats. We could talk for a very long time. Just one thing, remember, if you have nothing for major keys, we're talking about major scales, not minor yet. If there's nothing after the treble clef, you're basically in C major for a major key. Not bored? I know you're not bored. I know you love this. Thanks a lot. So here we're going to talk about chord inversions. So you have to think that we saw how to make a chord. A chord is like a house where you have foundations, the walls, and you have also the roof. You can also think of it like a tree. So you have, for example, the C major. So remember, C is the roots, E is the major third, and a G is the perfect fifth. Okay. So right here, we're going to have what we call chord inversions. So in this order here, we're in the first formal order here, where the root is on the bass. So you have to think a chord like, for example, 3 blocks of Legos, different color. Okay, you can choose whatever country you want. So for Canada, it's going to be hard because there's only 2 colors. But just choose another country somewhere in the world where you have 3 different colors there, and imagine, pick 1 color for the root, 1 color for the major third, and 1 color for the perfect fifth. Okay, so making the chord here. So here my root is on the bass. Let's say we're going to have the same chord, but we're going to change the order of the notes of the chord. It's still going to be the same chord. It's not going to be a different chord. So here, if I'm going on major, not minor yet. I'm always tempted by the minor. That's my classical romantic side. Okay. So first inversion here, we're going to have the E, the third, on the bass. And we're going to call it C/E. Second inversion, using the same notes, we're going to have, as the lowest note here, we're going to have the fifth, perfect fifth, on the bass. So here I'm just playing like a C chord. Sometimes I play that and I have students asking me, wow, that's cool, what kind of chords are you playing? Well, I'm just playing a C chord. So if you're doing music there and you're playing in a band or you're making arrangements, make sure that the guitars are not all playing all in the same position of the power chords. You have lots of different chords that you can play everywhere on the neck right there. Okay? Any questions? Now we're on the minor inversions there. So we're still on a good old C. So here we have C minor with the with E flat. First inversion we have C minor / E. Okay, so yeah, even power chords invert. Yeah, you could do that. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's well thought. So first inversion, C minor / E. And then we're going on the second minor inversion, C minor / G. So this is more for jazz or rock or pop musical notation. In classical, it's going to be written a little bit different there. I'm not going to go on that topic there because I want to make it simple, okay? But there's different ways of writing down the chord inversions, okay? But most of the time, you're going to see it written like that in the music that you're going to be doing. In classical, it's more specific, so you have to follow the rules there. That could be another topic. Okay. It's time to talk about some minor scales. If you see major, you see minor, of course. And if you see minor, you can see major. So here we're going to see A minor natty relative scale. So, right here in the lesson here, so minor scale, what's going to really represent the minor scale is the minor third. Okay, so that little saddy sound that you're going to have, classical musicians hate when we say that a minor chord is sad or a minor scale is sad. But since we're still classical romantics and that you do not like those sounds there, and I can see your face, I can imagine your face is there for sure. Well, you prefer hearing something like than listening to clusters of chords. So the minor scale here is going to be so minor third. That's important. Here you got a minor. So root, major second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, and minor seven. Can you play a little tune at the end of the lesson? Yes, I can do that. Of course. I know it's a theory lesson. There's lots of things not happening. But it's a connection between melodies, chords, and everything. So I'll try to do a little something improvised here. I'll try. So here we got it for the minor natural. Thanks, Pamela, for being there. So let's go this one right here. So I was talking about the relative scales. So you probably seen those notes there. So you have from A to A. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A notes. Okay. And if I write down our good old C major scale, what is the connection between those two scales? I'm waiting for the answer. It's very simple. Look at those two scales there and tell me what is the connection between those two scales. They don't have the same roots, but what is the connection between A minor natural and C major? I like to call A minor natural relative. And C major. Who's going to win? What are the connection? What is the connection between A minor, Asylum of Glass? You got it. Good answer. That's right. Starting point has changed. They don't have the same structure in terms of intervals. Yes, Pamela. Reverse notes. That's right. They have exactly the same notes in A minor and C, but they don't have the same root and same structure. But if you're improvising right here, so if you're improvising, for example, in A minor, I could play C major scale over A minor chord. And why does it work? Because in the A minor here, if I should normally play, but I can play C. It's A minor natural relative and C major have exactly the same notes. So when you're improvising, you're at the same time in A minor and in C major. That's why when you see a song in G, everyone is going to jump on the pentatonics like. But I can also play here. I'm in the key of G. Oh, the tritone came back. That's not supposed to be part of the scale there. So in G major here, I could play E minor, E minor, or G major, because the distance between the relative scales is a minor third. So if you look on the neck, for example, if you're playing, for example, easy example between A and C here. So A is here and C right here. You're at a distance, you can count 3 frets here, so that's going to be a whole step and a half step here. So when you're improvising, you want to look for your, you got your good old pentatonic right here. But you can also mix the two together. Okay, I hope you're enjoying so far the lesson there. We might go a little bit over an hour, but not so much. Do not worry. You'll have time to watch all your TV shows. So we've seen the relative scales, same notes. Actually, it was written on. My bad. Let's have a look now on, if this one wants to work. There you go. Minor harmonic. Not yet. The lesson is not over. You must wait till the end of the lesson for a tune. So minor harmonic here, what's interesting, same thing here, you have a different color of sound. Okay, the main 3 minor scales you can use are minor natural, minor harmonic, and minor melodic, and more like ascendant. Okay, so minor harmonic here, you're going to have the root, major second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, and major 7. And you see between A flat and B, you're going to have 1.5 steps. And that type of scale, parts of that scale, you can find it in a lot of different scales. You just look at the heat map of the region, but take it a little bit wider around the Mediterranean there, and you're going to find like different places using this scale or parts of the scale combined with other intervals there. It's always interesting to have a little look at different scales there. I have a good YouTube lesson on exotic scales there. If you haven't seen it, please have a look there. I'm sure you'll learn something new. Okay, so that was the minor harmonic scale here in the key of C. So of course you can practice it in different areas of the neck and go in different keys like that there. And now, minor melodic ascendant. Okay, so if there's ascendant, there's a descendant, but we're just going to talk about the minor melodic ascendant because descendant is more like for the writing in classical music. Hungarian minor, yes, that's a good one there, definitely. That's a really good one. But first we're going on the minor melodic there. Okay, this is used a lot also in jazz and classical music and all kinds of music there. I heard it in pop songs and some pop songs that have the guts to use it. Yeah, because most of the time it's just major and minor, basic ones, but sometimes it could be interesting. Okay, so we've seen, I'll just turn this off here. So remember that if you want to review, for example, you want to get all the, so that's my Guitar Pro here. If you wanted to get all the tabs right here, yeah, where is it there? Yes. You can go on my Patreon. Okay. You can go on my Patreon right there, and if you wanted to get all the whole lesson there and all the other lessons, if you just want the tabs, it's just for $3. Okay. And there you go. I won't bother you anymore with that right now. So I hope you enjoyed this first live stream I've been doing on theory applied instruments. So sorry for the little octave there. It's not 3/3, it's 3/1. Well, you probably know that. And remember, in movies with intervals, if you hear that augmented octave, that means don't enter the room. Something's gonna happen. Well, thanks to everyone to have followed my second live stream here on theory applied on an instrument. We can do others. I have other plans for live streams. We'll see. If you haven't subscribed to my guitar YouTube channel, please do it. Click the bell so you get notifications when there's something happening. That would be cool. And please like this live stream here. It helps me a little bit in the stats, definitely. Okay, I hope you enjoyed tonight's live stream here, and I will see you pretty soon. Bye-bye.